Good morning, Internet friendos, and welcome to another episode of Life According to Joel. Now, in my narcissistic self-importance, I will just go into talking about my life this week. I've been in quarantine now for 7 days. Today's day 7. My colleague and coworker, Adam, thought I would go insane by now. And so I thought, why not talk a bit about why I haven't gone insane? Well, first off, check out the kind of goodies I still have. I was smart. I was prepared. Boy, am I glad I got those cinnamon buns from Cinnabon and froze them and have a Kidnapbeck donut because I don't know what I'd do without my iced coffee and donuts. Everybody who knows me knows I love my iced coffee and donuts. But secondly, friends, there is a benefit to being autistic and to having come from a history of foster care and having had my first job picking berries at like 12 and learning how to cook and be self-sufficient as a child. And that is, I'm used to being on my own. I'm used to taking care of myself, and I'm used to not having anybody around. And while we talk about socially isolating, I've been socially isolated most of my life. And one of the great things about being socially isolated is in a situation like this, I'm cool. I'm fine. I'm used to not having people around. And so I can sit here with my iced coffees. I can sit here eating my donuts. And I've got living without other people around to a pat. I've perfected it. So this week, some of the things I used to help pass the time and to be productive other than making these videos were my Oculus Rift. I pulled out my old Sega Dreamcast. I mean, come on. Who doesn't have a Dreamcast? Every 90s kid, we grew up, and when we were kids, the Dreamcast came out, the GameCube came out. So I played some Sega. I had my Nintendo GameCube. I bought it when I was 12, did my pre-order. I actually got it when I was 13 because it took a little while to come out. But my Nintendo GameCube was my most prized possession as a kid, and I had tons of games that I was just eager to get back into. Now on to the big question on everybody's mind. When I said I was gonna quarantine on the next Thursday, a lot of people said A, I was overreacting, but B, the big one that everybody said was, I'm gonna go insane on my own. I can't be on my own for 14 days. Oh my gosh, Joel, you're gonna lose your mind. You're gonna be insane by the end of the second week. And so I'd like to address that. First off, I'm completely sane. And aside from the technology aspect and learning how to paint and checking out the lube and stuff, there's the relationship aspect. And we've all seen it, quarantine and chill, and desperate people freaking out trying to find a partner, and other people in relationships freaking out realizing that they don't love their partners, or realizing that their partners are children and not independent adults. Or, yeah, there's just a lot of people realizing things about themselves, and I think that's what's great about the coronavirus experience right now. I think that this experience for our generation, millennials or Gen Zs or Gen Y, I think we're going to learn about who we really are. Are we actually independent adults? Are we children? Are we uneducated? Are we incompetent? Are we competent? Are we codependent? A lot of things are going to come to the surface. And the big thing I see about this quarantine and chill and people so dependent on one another for their own survival is that it's really showing how incapable we are as a society of taking care of ourselves. And you know what? I am fully capable of taking care of myself, and I've taken care of myself since I was a kid. And the longest relationship I've ever had was 5 weeks because of my autism. And one of the great things that has done is it has made me who I am. I'm strong in who I am. I love me. And a lot of people, they don't love themselves. And I think that a lot of people's dread with this quarantine is that they're going to have to sit with themselves. And they don't love themselves. And that's a problem. You know what? You need to love yourself. So you know what? If you're in quarantine right now and you're losing your shit because you can't be alone with yourself, you need to stop. And you need to question why. And then you need to put on your favorite movie. You need to pull out and do your favorite hobby. You need to throw up a canvas and start painting. You need to start knitting. Or you need to start sketching, or you need to make music, or you need to play video games, or you need to vlog, or you need to blog, or you need to write. Do something that is you. Embrace who you are. And for those in relationships right now who are coming home and they're realizing, oh my gosh, I don't love my partner. You know what? That's great. Learn. Because if you love your partner, you love your partner. And if you don't, you don't. If you can't actually be here with your partner for 14 days, you're not partners. Partners look out for each other. Partners can take care of each other. Partners are each other's missing half. And if you aren't independent, or he or she's not independent, or they're not independent, and you are driving each other wild, and you are realizing how much you don't like each other, that is a good thing. Because you shouldn't be together if that's the case. And if you are realizing that you love each other, that's an amazing thing. Take this opportunity to get to know your partner. And a lot of people are going to realize that they and their partners are codependent. They need their partner. Their partner needs them. And that's not good. And you know what? A lot of people are going to realize when one person's the breadwinner or the strong, competent adult and the other person's the child, it's going to bring it out. Nobody wants to date a child. And the child is looking for an adult, is looking for a parental figure. And nobody wants to necessarily be that parental figure. It's one thing to be an emotional support. But if you can't cook for yourself, and you can't clean for yourself, and you have no hobbies, and you have no interests, and you have nothing, and you're not capable of being your own independent person, it's not fair to your partner that they have to be the independent, strong person while you're not. And I think that you need to break up if that's the case. If you realize that one of you is independent and one of you isn't, or you're both codependent and incapable of taking care of yourself without the other person, or maybe you're both codependent but neither of you are competent adults. Neither of you know how to cook. Neither of you know how to take care of each other. Neither of you are emotionally supportive to each other, and you realize you're both children. This is an opportunity to get to know yourselves and grow into adults. Learn how to cook. Learn what you're passionate about. If you don't have anything you're passionate about, you're always just at work, learn what you're passionate about. Become you. Love you. Be you. And you know what, coronavirus? I think a lot of millennials, Gen Ys, Gen Zs, boomers are going to come out of this experience with a stronger love for themselves. And you know what? As far as that's concerned, kudos, coronavirus. I love ya.